Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Leader of Majority Party to table business of the County Assembly for the coming week.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Assembly today, Wednesday of 30th April, 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Business of the County Assembly for the coming week. I thank you.
Chairperson, County Public Investment Accounts Committee to table committee report on the report of Auditor General on Makueni County Assembly, State and the Public Officers Car Loan and the Mortgage Fund for the period ended 30th June 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022.
Thank you, Speaker. I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Assembly today, Wednesday, 30th April 2024 at 2:30 p.m. The report of the County Public Investments and Accounts Committee on the report of the Auditor General on Makueni County Assembly State and Public Officers Car Loan and Mortgage Fund for the period ended 30th June 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
The Chairperson, County Public Investment and Accounts Committee to give a notice of motion.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this Assembly adopts the report of the County Public Investments and Accounts Committee on the report of the Auditor General on the Makueni County Assembly State, a Public Officers Car Loan and Mortgage Fund for the period ended 30th June 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, laid on the table of the Assembly on 30th April 2024.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Leader of Majority Party to present the business of the County Assembly for the coming week.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Orders number 47, Part 2A and 55 of the County Assembly Standing Orders, I rise to give, beg your pardon, I rise to give a statement on the business of the County Assembly for the next sitting week. Mr. Speaker, sir, the following business has been tentatively scheduled to be transacted by the County Assembly in the next sitting week. On Monday, the 6th of May 2024, on papers and notices, tabling of the report of the Committee on Water and Sanitation regarding the operations of Kadhuma Water Project and various boreholes in Watenzio Ward. A notice of motion shall be given as well. Tabling of the report on the Committee on Devolution, Public Participation, County Administration and Special Programs on the operations of the Makueni County Public Service Board. A notice of motion shall be given as well. Tabling of the report on the Procedure and Rules Committee on the amendment of the County Assembly of Makueni Standing Orders. Notice of motion shall be given as well. On the statements, Mr. Speaker, respond to the statement regarding the inappropriate disposal of wastewater in Emali Sultan Hamud Municipality and other parts of the county, as was requested by the member for Emali Mulala Ward, Honorable Mutonga. Response to the statement regarding the lack of agroecology policy in the county, as was requested by Honorable Janet Kitunga. On motions, Mr. Speaker, sir, motion for the adoption of the report on the Committee on ICT, Education, and Internship on the financial year 2023-2024 half-year county budget implementation report for the Department of ICT, Education, and Internship. Motion for the adoption of the report on the Committee of ICT, Education, and Internship on the consideration of the report of the Intergovernmental Relationships Technical Committee on Unbundling and Transfer of Pending Devolved Functions for the education and ICT sectors. Motion for the adoption of the report of the Committee on Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperatives Development regarding the implementation of Kanini Kaseo Irrigation Project in Kalawa Ward. On Tuesday, the 7th May of 2024, Mr. Speaker, in the morning plenary, petitions, a public petition by the residents of Kalamba community regarding the ownership and operations of the Kalamba Community Dispensary. On papers and notices, tabling of the report of the County Public Investment and Accounts Committee on the consideration of the reports by the Auditor General on the Makueni County Emergency Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020, 30th June 2021, and 30th June 2022. A notice of motion shall be given as well. On motions, Mr. Speaker, the report of the County Public Investments and Accounts Committee on the report of the Auditor General on the Makueni County Assembly State and Public Officers Car Loan and Mortgage Fund for the period ended 30th June 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022 respectively. Afternoon plenary, Mr. Speaker, on the Tuesday 7th, motion for the adoption of the report on the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the report on the Controller of Budget on the annual county government budget implementation review report for the financial year 2022-2023. Motion for the adoption of the report of the Committee on Environment and Climate Change on the expose on the road on Makueni County Sand Conservation and Utilization Authority. On the Wednesday of May 8th, 2024, on papers and notices, tabling of the report of the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services on the Public Finance Management, Makueni County Empowerment Fund, Regulations 2024. Notice of motion shall be given as well. Tabling of the report on the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services on the Makueni County Empowerment Fund, Guidelines 2024. Notice of motion shall be given as well. Tabling of the report on the Committee on Lands, Urban Planning Development on the Makindu Local Physical Land Use Development Plan 2023-2033 to 2033. Notice of motion shall be given as well. Tabling of the report on the Committee on Finance and Socio-Economic Planning on the rot and anguish in the Department on Finance, Planning, Budget and Revenue. Notice of motion shall be given as well. On statements, Mr. Speaker, response to the statement regarding the status of Kamunyo Dam, the dam, Mr. Speaker, as was requested by the member for Watenzio Ward, the Honorable Mateso Felix Boniface, Mr. Speaker. Motion for the adoption of the report of the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports, Social Services on the consideration of Makueni Sports Policy 2023. Motion for the adoption of the report on the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services on the financial year 2023-2024 half-year budget implementation report for the Department on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services. Mr. Speaker, there shall be a meeting of the County Assembly Business Committee on Monday, the 6th May 2024 at 9 a.m. and pursuant to the decision of that committee meeting, additional business may be scheduled to be transacted by the County Assembly during that week. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairperson, Committee on Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperative Development to respond to statement regarding the water itinerary as requested by a member for Watenzio Ward. Chairperson. Chairperson, Water. Vice Chair. Agriculture.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I request for 7 days to expedite on that matter.
Requester.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 7 days, it's okay. I will be patient.
Chairperson Committee on Health Services to respond to statement regarding the construction of Mboni Sub-County Hospital Isolation Center in Mboni Ward.
Mr. Speaker, this answer we were expecting, they're telling us is coming today, but I know we have changed. There is an acting ECM who was requesting that we could be able to answer that question by next week. She's trying to get a picture of the whole. So, Mr. Speaker, I know this has taken long. We've been around this mountain for long, but with the new minister has told me they will handle it next week.
7 days?
Please.
Okay, thank you. Next order. Member for Mboni. Are you okay with that one?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm okay. We can deal with that next week. Thank you.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion. The report of the Committee on Lands, Urban Planning and Development on the financial year 2023-24 half-year county budget implementation report for the Department of Lands, Urban Planning and Development.
Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Urban Planning and Development.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the following motion that this Assembly adopts the report on the Committee on Lands and Urban Planning Development on the financial year 2023-2024 RVL count budget implementation report for the Department of Lands, Urban Planning Development laid on the table of the Assembly on 22nd April 2024. Mr. Speaker, Article 183.3 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 stipulates that the County Executive Committee shall provide the County Assembly with full and regular reports on matters relating the county. Section 166 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 mandates the County Executive Committee for Finance and Socio-Economic Planning to prepare and submit timely quarterly reports, which shall be published and shared with the Controller of Budgets, the National Treasury, and the Commission of Revenue Allocation. The law stipulates that the reports shall contain both financial and non-financial information. The above reports aim at improving transparency and enhancing oversight of the county government and its entities. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the County Assembly sitting held on 14th February 2024, the leader of Majority Party tabled a report from the head of County Treasury on the financial year 2023-2024, half-year budget implementation report. Upon tabling the report, it was committed to all sectoral committees who were directed to consider it and report to the Assembly within 21 days. The report presents key highlights, milestone achieved during the first half year of financial year 2023-2024. The highlights include budget trends from financial year 2019-2020 to financial year 2023-2024. 2023-2024 budget. Receipts into the Makueni County Revenue Fund for the first half year of financial year 2023-2024 and the exchequer issues from the National Treasury. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Committee on Lands and Urban Planning Development consider the report focusing on the Lands, Urban Planning and Development Directorate, Water Municipality and Emali Sultan Municipality. Mr. Speaker, the committee findings and observations. Having considered the financial year 2023-2024 half-year progress account budget implementation report, the committee made the following findings and observations. One, that is the implementation of the financial year 2023-2024 budget. Number of challenges were encountered, notably among them being the delayed equitable share, loans and grant release. The account received disbursement equivalent for 4 months. Instead of the anticipated 6 months, the account was expected to receive a total of 4,186,453,117 for the first half of the financial year 2023-2024. However, the account received disbursement of only 4 months, amounting to 2,790,302,118. Mr. Speaker, protect me from my friend here, my good neighbor. 2, out of the 32 project programs embarked for the implementation the financial year 2023 by the Lands and Urban Planning and Development Directorate. 3, out of the 7 projects program embarked from implementation of the financial year 2023-2024 by the Water Municipality, and 1 was completed, 3 were ongoing, and 3 were yet to be started. Out of the 6 projects program embarked for implementation in the financial year 2023-2024 by the Emali Sultan Ahmad Municipality, none was completed. 2 were ongoing and 4 were yet to be started. 5, that there was need for an enhanced cooperation with the national government and development partners to expedite the implementation of jointly implemented projects, programs and projects. Mr. Speaker, our recommendations, the committee hereby recommends that 1, the County Executive Committee member of Lands and Urban Planning, Environment and Climate Change fast tracks the implementation projects that have been budgeted for but not yet started and presents their status report to the committee within 60 days for adoption of this report. 2, that the Council of Governors urgently works on the finding conclusive solution to the perennial challenge of delayed release of funds on the county governments. 3, that the county government of Makueni works on ensuring enhanced cooperation within the development partners and the national government through frequent consultation meeting and technical support to expedite implementation of jointly implemented programs. Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity to thank the members of the committee for their input, a valuable contribution during the deliberations on the financial year 2023-2024 half-yearly count budget implementation report. On behalf of the committee, I wish to thank the office of the Speaker, that of the clerk of the County Assembly, for logistical support accorded to the committee during the exercise. And on behalf of the Committee on Lands and Urban Development, it is my pleasure and duty to present the Assembly the committee report on the financial year 2023-2024 half-yearly count budget implementation report for consideration and adoption. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I call the member, Honorable Maneno, to second the report. Honorable Maneno, second the report.
I now propose that this Assembly adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Urban Planning and Development on the financial year 2023-2024 half-year count budget implementation report for the Department of Lands, Urban Planning and Development. The floor is open. Mover.
Mr. Speaker, I hoping that members have supported in silence. I call upon members to support the report. Thank you.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this Assembly adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Urban Planning and Development on the financial year 2023-2024 half-year count budget implementation report for the Department of Lands, Urban Planning and Development. Will as men of that opinion say aye? Will as men of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I direct that this report to be communicated to the CECM Lands, CECM Finance, the County Secretary. Next order.
Order number 9, motion. The report of the County Public Investments and Accounts Committee on the report of the Auditor General on the Makueni County Receiver of Revenue for the period ended 30th June 2022.
Chairperson, Committee, County Public Investment and Accounts Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion that this Assembly adopts the report of the County Public Investment and Accounts Committee on consideration of the report of the Auditor General on the Makueni County revenue statements, receiver of revenue for the year ended 30th June 2022. I hope I have moved in the right format because I did not have the moving remarks. But since I'm seasonal enough, I think the chair will agree with me. This is fine.
Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to skip the following. I wish to skip the table of contents, the preface, which includes the committee mandate and establishment, the oversight and also the membership of the committee, because we are led by the Honorable Member for Mabendene. Then the executive summary, then also, then go straight to introduction on page 1 of the main report. If you allow me, Honorable Speaker, I will
proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on introduction, I want to read. Honorable Speaker, Article 2294A of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 mandates the Auditor General to audit and report on the accounts of the national and county governments within 6 months after the end of each financial year. Financial years end on 30th of June each year. Further, Article 2298 requires that within 3 months after receiving an audit report, Parliament or the County Assembly shall debate and consider the report and take appropriate action. So, Honorable Speaker, no action can happen before a county assembly or the parliament have recommended the same, Honorable Speaker. So, the opinion of the auditor is not the final opinion. The opinion of the assembly or the national or senate are the final opinions, Honorable Speaker. The report of the Auditor General on Makueni County revenue statements, receiver of revenue for the year ended 30th June 2022 was tabled in the Assembly on 8th May 2022 and committed to the County Public Investment and Accounts Committee for consideration. The reported and modified opinion with the auditor flagging out a query on the shortfall in on-source revenue. The committee, while considering the report, was guided by the Articles 125 and 195 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Section 18(1) of the County Assembly's Powers and Privileges Act 2017, which requires any person to appear before it and give evidence or to produce any paper, book, record, or document in their possession or under their control. The Public Audit Act 2015 and Standing Order 199 and 206 of Makueni County Assembly Standing Orders, which is the procedure of select committees. The committee engaged the accounting officer and a representative of the Office of Auditor General on 19th February 2024 for further clarification of the audit issues raised. Honorable Speaker, 2.0, that is the shortfall in county on-source revenue. As I said, it had only one unmodified opinion. Honorable Speaker, the statement of comparison of budget versus actual amounts reflects final approved budget and actual on a comparable basis for county on-source revenue of 1.0930671 B and 749,406,509 shillings, resulting to under collection of 341,900,203 shillings, or 31% of the same, which was projected earlier. The county management did not demonstrate the measures being put in place to ensure prompt and full collection of on-source revenue. In the circumstances, the shortfall in collection of the county on-source revenue may hinder a service delivery and implementation of earmarked projects and other county development projects. Honorable Speaker, it is not may, it will. When the shortfall is there, it means we will have a bill going into the next financial year, and the CPA, or the Honorable Member for Kako, CPA Dennis Musyoka, PhD, can attest to that. Honorable Speaker, management response. To enhance mobilization of its own source revenue and ensure revenue targets are met, the county government of Makueni has initiated the following measures. A, leveraging on technology for data and evidence-based revenue mobilization, including auto-billing and e-permits. The county has deployed cashless payment through a USSD, the unstructured codes 838, that is *838 hash, and also my county app, as it is attached under Appendix 1. Honorable Speaker, number B is restructuring the billing regime to ensure all related business activities for a single client is billed once. This will ensure efficiency in billing and consolidation of expected revenues from businesses and establishments within the county. Honorable Speaker, we have heard previously where a shop or a business is being charged more than one license, sometimes even health, fire, and such. Now, they are being consolidated by restructuring the billing regime. Honorable Speaker, C, restructuring revenue administration from geographical approach to functional approach. The Revenue Directorate has been structured to 6 divisions to coordinate the various key revenue streams, Honorable Speaker. That is to that is to say, we have devolved that function to the sub-counties, where at least 5 wards are now being managed together. So as it has been attached under appendix number 2. And the leader of majority, I can see, is nodding because he is aware of those new changes. And you know, he has been doing the changes. Even in the previous government, he was the leader of government. So he understands these things. And C, restructuring the revenue administration. Sorry, D, Honorable Speaker D, I want to say I had repeated the C, I want to go to D, enhancing data-driven revenue mobilization by undertaking census of business establishments in the county. Honorable Speaker, at least when you know the census of what is happening, at least you'll be able to target those business establishments. Number E, entrench supervision, intelligence gathering, and institute regular rotation of staff. At least, Honorable Speaker, that we have seen, it is bearing some fruits because nobody will be stationed in a single station for more than a certain period of time. Even the national government is doing that with the National Police Service. You can't serve there for more than 3 years, and you can move to the next station. So that way, at least the corruption and such, what is related with overstaying of our staff, who is in a very sensitive docket like money collection and also security, it will be a big problem. So that's why we want also to identify that. F, identify, register, and bill unregistered plot owners for payment of rates and regularize on ongoing developments that are not compliant. That is also very self-explanatory. G, exploiting the potential of the county's natural resources. The government will look into possibilities of gathering more revenue from the county's natural resources such as minerals, sand, and oil. Through collaboration with the mining subsector, the county will enhance revenue collection from source exploitation structures. Honorable Speaker, that is very evident. The governor was with the minister for the CS, the national CS for mining, a former governor for Kwale in Kabonzwen, and they are looking at exploiting that. H, instituting measures to recover outstanding debts owed in respect to plot rent to all defaulters. The county government will enter into agreements with defaulters to develop mutually beneficial strategies to ensure payment and debt collection. Incentives that promote payment by defaulters will be sought to reduce outstanding debts. We have seen that giving a lot of positive impact on the collections. I, sensitize revenue payers on the importance of voluntary compliance. This will be disseminated through social media, FM radio stations, and talk shows, public barazars, and others, as it has been attached under appendix number 4. J, the government will engage community revenue champions at each of the 30 wards. The champions will assist the government in sensitizing communities on the need to pay fees and charges. K, establishing a rewarding system for individuals, markets, and wards which have been consistently paying their revenue within said guidelines in each calendar year. This will be through initiatives like special funding for programs and projects in specific areas. That's another good incentive. Like when you go to the towns where Honorable Katumo is the chairman for Mungano along Mombasa Road, that can work very fast. K, no, not KL, initiate through the Office of the County Attorney the process for establishment of county courts through engagement of key stakeholders, including the judiciary, National Police Service, and Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. That is also being proposed. M, establishing a dedicated enforcement and compliance unit that is appropriately trained to handle all revenue matters. N, training officers involved in revenue collection on customer handling and negotiation skills that will promote cohesive performance of their duties. O, whole government approach in on-source revenue mobilization. The government will promote participation across departments in on-source revenue mobilization, with each department playing a supportive role in revenue mobilization. Honorable Speaker, I want to put across the committee findings. The committee noted that the accounting officer had put in place measures to raise revenue, and which had seen revenue increase in subsequent financial year 2023-2024. However, the measures had not been fully implemented, with some revenue streams such as sand and other minerals and parking not being fully exploited. Regulation 42(1) and 46 of the Public Finance Management Act, County Governments, Regulations 2015, mandates the accounting officer to exercise budgetary control measures and put in place strategies to raise on-source revenue. Honorable Speaker, that's also very clear, and I believe everybody is flowing with our document, Honorable Speaker, except for those who have not attended the plenary sittings this afternoon, which has been very consistent. And I saw that with the breakage in the morning, and I will count up to around seventh sitting. That is when people will come back. That is for majority leader to note. Committee recommendations. Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends that going forward, the accounting officer should exercise budgetary control measures and implement the strategies put in place to attain projected on-source revenue, OSR, as per Regulation 42(1) and 46 of the Public Finance Management County Governments Regulations 2015. Honorable Speaker, I also want to do the acknowledgement. Honorable Speaker, that is on page Roman 4. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the committee, I thank the officers of the Speaker and the Clerk of the County Assembly for facilitating the committee during the consideration of this report. I also thank the honorable members of the committee for participating in the entire period with zeal and for their commitment in discharging their mandate effectively. Honorable Speaker, you will note that we did not even travel. We have been doing these reports in Committee Room 2. Committee Room 2, we have not been traveling at all. And I must thank the members of this committee, led by our chairperson, Honorable Jonathan, senior member, ranking member from Mavindin, for showing some good leadership in this committee, and also honorable member for Emali, Mulala, and of course myself. So I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the County Public Investment and Accounts Committee to present this report to the Assembly for adoption. I therefore call upon the honorable member for Emali Mulala to second this motion. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I now propose that this Assembly adopt the report of the County Public Investment and Accounts Committee on the report of the Auditor General on the Makueni County Receiver of Revenue for the period ended 30th June 2022, laid on the table of the Assembly on 24th April 2024. The floor is open.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support the report, and I wanted to just make a correction whereby the mover of the motion said that the Assembly which gives opinions. I think the Assembly will give recommendation. The opinions will remain with the auditors. And also, I will just also ask the mover in the next meeting when they are interrogating the ECM, they should have internal auditor, because he's the one who makes sure all the procedures and the checks and the balances are there too, and the procedures. So that some of the questions may be also addressed by the internal auditor, but not an ECM. Just imagine an ECM who is not an accountant or an auditor is answering some questions and doesn't know some of the procedures, and that is the work of internal auditor. But they make sure that the internal auditor does not appear in their sitting, which is so unfortunate, Mr. Speaker. Also about the loyalties on minerals. We are waiting for that stream. I've seen some counties which are getting almost 90 million, others 200 million. But Makueni, I know we have minerals and we are not getting royalties from our minerals. Thank you.
Mover.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank members for showing a lot of interest with this report, by even not commenting, because they are very satisfied. Even the seconder did not make moving remarks because it's very self-explanatory, and also only one item was found to be an issue, and which was also satisfactorily responded to. And we have seen the growth in on-source revenue ever since. And we also expect that by 2026, end of June 2026, we may have grown that to even close to 2 billion if we put these measures to operation. Thank you also, Honorable Member, for Kakowai, for giving the comment on, it's like you read our minds. As the Committee on PAC, CPAC, we have agreed that when the minister is coming for interrogations, we need to have the internal auditors there. When the accounting officer is there, the internal auditors should be there to get to even tell us why those matters have gone beyond by the auditor, and as is a recommendation. I wanted also to concur with him that those are opinions. Opinions, you know, opinions are on the road and they are not investigated. So the Assembly has the power to investigate. Like we have seen auditors report with an opinion being discussed somewhere, and sometimes being taken like is the form of a thing for the county government. It is not. The county assembly does the investigations and they give their recommendations based on the opinion of the auditor. Because sometimes letters have been presented by the accounting officers, but they did not see the light of the day. The auditor has not put them into consideration. But this committee, because the Committee on PAC is a representation of the people of Makueni, we normally get to understand those nitty-gritties. And that way we normally make the opinion now be recommended. Then on royalties, I also want to agree with him. We need to look at that as a huge opportunity for the county to make some ends meet. And that way we will have developed this county. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I wish members to support this with a big yes.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this Assembly adopt the report of the County Public Investment and Account Committee on the report of the Auditor General on the Makueni County Receiver of Revenue for the period ended 30th June 2022, laid on the table of the Assembly on 24th April 2024. Will as men of that opinion say aye? Will as men of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. This report should be communicated to the ECM Finance, His Excellency the Governor, His Excellency the Deputy Governor, Senator Makueni County, and the Senate. Next order.
Order number 10, motion. The report of the County Public Investments and Accounts Committee on the report of the Auditor General on the Makueni County Revenue Fund for the period ended 30th June 2022.
Chairperson, Committee, County Public Investment and Accounts Committee.
Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the following motion that this Assembly adopts the report of the Committee on County Public Investment and Accounts on consideration of the report of Auditor General on the Makueni County Revenue Fund for the year ended 30th June 2022. Honorable Speaker, this entity had a qualified opinion, and the basis for this was 1, inaccuracies in financial statements. The statement of receipts and payments reflects total payment of Kenya shillings 8,562,194,885, comprising of transfers to County Executive and County Assembly of 7,816,380,699 and 745,814,186 shillings respectively. However, this does not correspond with the receipts indicated in the Makueni County financial statements for the period, which reflects total receipts from the County Revenue Fund of 8,777,873,656, resulting to unexplained variance of 215,678,771 shillings. Similarly, the statement of receipts and payments prior year total payments of Kenya shillings 8,337,790,677 and Kenya shillings 803,260,239 respectively. However, this does not correspond with the receipts indicated in the Makueni County financial statement for the same period, which reflects total receipts from the County Revenue Fund of 9,631,704,918, resulting to an unexplained variance of 490,654,000. In the circumstances, the accuracy and validity of payments totaling to 9,141,000,002 respectively could not be confirmed. Honorable Speaker, the management did respond as follows. The amount of 8,777,870 the total funds received into the County Revenue Fund in the financial year, while 8,562,194,885 comprising of transfers to the County Executive and County Assembly of 7,816,380,699 and 745,814,186 respectively reflect the disbursements from the County Revenue Fund. The Kenya shillings 215,678,771 was the amount in the CRF closing bank balance. Similarly, the amount 9,704,918 reflects the receipts into the CRF in the financial year 2021-2022, while payments of 9,141,050,916 comprising of transfers to the County Executive and County Assembly of 8,337,790,677 and 803,260,239 respectively reflect the disbursements from CRF in the same financial year. The amount 490,654,002 being amount in the CRF closing bank balance. This has, however, been amended in the financial year 2022-2023 to have the amount in the County Executive financial statements tally with the corresponding amounts in the CRF financial statements. Speaker, the committee that during the audit verification, the accounting officer did not furnish the auditor with the details for reconciliations for the variances of 215,678,771 and 490,654,002, thus contravening Regulation 100 of Public Finance Management Act Regulations 2015, which provides that accounting officers shall keep in all offices concerning with receiving cash or making payments a cash book showing the receipts and payments, and shall maintain such other books and registers as may be necessary for the proper maintenance and production of the accounts of the vote for which he or she is responsible. Honorable Speaker, failure to furnish this information to the auditor constitutes an offense under Section 62 of the Public Audit Act of 2015. 2, the reconciliations were done and provided to the committee during audit verification. The committee recommends that in future, the accounting officer should adhere to the above said regulation by ensuring that all disclosures and reconciliations are done in time, not to wait when the auditor or the committee comes knocking. On the other matter, the budgetary control and performance, we had an issue with under collection of own source revenue. The statement of comparison of budget and actual amounts reflects total final budget for own source revenues and actuals on comparable basis of 1,91,306,710 and 369,187,533 respectively, resulting in an under collection of 722.77 or 66% of the budget. On the county executive activities for the year under review. Management response. The own source revenue reported, which is 369,187,633, is exclusive of the budgeted hospital appropriation in aid collected and spent at source. Of course, we know that A in A means that what it means, and this amount was not banked into the CRF account. And the amount is totaling to 350,150,674 shillings. The actual under collection of all source revenue was therefore 371,968,403, which is 34%. So of course we noticed that that correction, that the accounting officer is alluding that the under collection is not the stated 60 something percent, but this 34%. Towards this end, the county has instituted the following measures geared towards ensuring the growth of own source revenues. One, automated all revenue streams, which has led to minimization of revenue leakages. Further, the county has enhanced monitoring of collection and supervision of staff thereof. Number two, they've ensured that all the businesses are invoiced and are licensed appropriately upon payment of the requisite fees and charges. Number three, they've ensured aggressive supervision and enforcement of both non-structured and structured revenue streams, which includes, among others, open-air markets, agricultural produce sales, livestock and market bus park, and parking fees, not forgetting business permits. Number four, ensured optimization of revenue collection from natural resources such as sand through identifying areas with huge deposits of excess sand, which exposes farms to flooding and thereby the need to harvest and minimize exposure to flooding risks. Number five, conducted revenue talks in the media to sensitize county taxpayers on their obligations to pay county taxes, fees, and other charges. Number six, issued public notices through print and electronic media informing taxpayers of their responsibility to pay county taxes. Number seven, finalization of the valuation roll in order to implement the imposition of rate payment by property owners. Number eight, conducting business census to ascertain the potential for the business licensing stream. Number nine, enhance the capacity of county human resource in the Directorate of Revenue, which has been in the decline in order to address a staffing gap. Number 10, instituted legal action through prosecuting defaulters. And then 11, deepened the use of technology through sensitizing the taxpayers on the use of mobile platform to pay for county dues and minimize the risk of cash handling by staff. Honorable Speaker, the committee made the following finding. The committee found out that during the financial year under review, the county had budgeted for 1,091,306,710 as own source revenue. Kenya shillings 369,187,633 was collected and banked the CRF account. An additional 350,150,674 was collected under hospital appropriation in aid and spent at source, thus not banked in the CRF account. The total amount, therefore, realized for own source revenue during the year amounted to 719,338,307, missing the target by 371,696,403, which translates to 34%. In line with regulations 46 of the Public Finance Management Regulations 2015, the management had put in strategies to raise growth of the own source revenue in the subsequent years. The committee recommends that pursuant to Regulation 46 of the Public Finance Management Regulation 2015, the accounting officer should implement the strategies outlined to ensure the set own source revenue targets are achieved in future. Under receipt of loan and grants from development partners, the statement of receipts and payments as disclosed under Note 2, the financial statements reflects a balance, a total of 273,519,615 Kenya shillings being transferred from other government sources prepared by Makueni County Treasury, show budget and performance as detailed below. Review of page 10 of the Makueni County Annual Budget Evaluation Report prepared by the Makueni County Treasury show budget and performance as detailed below. With IDA, that is National Agriculture and Rural Inclusive Project, budgeting for 284,347,300 and receiving in actual of 145,886,189, thus underperforming by 138,461,110, which is 51%. EU grants, that is instruments of devolution and instruments of devolution, advice and support, budgeting for 11 million and receiving none, no coin, thus underfunding by 100%. Swedish Agriculture Sector and Development Support Program, budgeting for 35,556,020 shillings and receiving 22,049,733 shillings, thus running short of 13,516,207, which is 62%. So, Honorable Speaker, you can see that under these circumstances, the money that had been budgeted from development partners did not come in its entirety, and of course, they did affect implementation of projects in this said financial year. On the response, the county government did not receive all the disbursements from the development partners that were budgeted for, and thus is the reason why the actual loans and grants from development partners received were less than the actual budgeted funds. The county shall continuously engage development partners to ensure all remittances budgeted for are received. The committee didn't make a finding that it is true that there was under receipt of funds from development partners amounting to 162,977 during the financial year. The funds were, however, received in the subsequent financial years. The committee recommends that in future, the accounting officer should make efforts to continuously engage development partners to ensure that all remittances budgeted for in annual budgets are documents to the auditor during the audit verification, but did provide the same to the committee during interrogation or thereafter. And the financial statements presented for audit did not comply with the prescribed financial reporting framework. And the committee recommends show willingness.
Honorable members, I now propose that this assembly adopt the report of the County Public Investment and Accounts Committee on the report of the Auditor General on Makueni County Revenue Fund for the period ended 30th June 2022, laid on the table of the Assembly on 24th April 2024. The floor is up for debate. I now put the question that this assembly adopt the report of the Public Investment Accounts Committee on the report of the Auditor General on the Makueni County Revenue Fund for the period ended 30th June 2022, laid on the table of the assembly on 24th April 2024. Will as men of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as men of this report to be communicated to the governor, the deputy governor, county secretary, CCM Finance, the Senate, and the Senator Makueni County. Next order.
Order number 11, motion. The report of the Committee on Finance and Socio-Economic Planning on the financial year 2023-2024 half-year county budget implementation report for the Department of Finance, Planning, Budget and Revenue.
Chairperson, Committee on Finance and Socio-Economic Planning.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. This implementation report, Honorable Speaker, has been common to all committees, especially on the budget.
Kindly adjust your volume.
Honorable Speaker, I'm saying the budget implementation report from every committee has been common to almost all the committees, especially touching on the budget. That is the county government of Makueni financial year 2023-2024 budget, which is 11.7 billion. Also, committees have touched on what the amount of allocation to recurrent budget and also on development. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I request you allow me to go to the Committee on Finance.
Honorable Chair, we have a procedure of moving a motion.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well guided. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion. That this Assembly adopts the report of the Committee on Finance and Socio-Economic Planning on the financial year 2023-2024 half-year county budget implementation report for the Department of Finance, Planning, Budget and Revenue, laid on the table of this Assembly on 24th April 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, the report provides budget implementation performance of the Finance, Planning, Budget, Revenue Department for the first half of the financial year 2023-2024. It is based on analysis of reports on financial and non-financial performance submitted to the county treasury, financial reports generated from the Integrated Financial Management System, that is IFMIS, and financial information analyzed from financial receipts from National Treasury. Further, the report highlights the lessons learned during the first half year of the implementation of this budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, both financial and non-financial performance is important to measuring the performance of government institutions, while financial information, that is expenditure and revenue, is critical for determining the costs and efficiencies of programs, activities, and non-financial information is equally important for assessing progress towards predetermined service delivery or performance target. Mr. Speaker, sir, financial year 2023-2024 budget was 11.1 billion. This consists of 3.5 billion development and 7.6 billion recurrent. Mr. Speaker, sir, the county government of Makueni met 30% budgetary allocation to development programs, 32% development budget. The personnel ratio for the financial year is 42%, which is above the required 35% as per PFM Regulations 2015. The rise in personnel emoluments has been attributed to salary increase of staff, provision of housing fund, NHIF and NSSF as per the new Finance Act. The county has initiated measures towards improving mobilization of on-source revenue and external resource mobilization. This is intended to increase the county revenues as well as allocation to development and decrease in personnel ratio. Mr. Speaker, sir, Allow me to skip the figures because as I've said, Mr. Speaker, most of these figures have been read. They are touching on the whole budget, what has been achieved as far as recurrent expenditure is concerned and also as far as development expenditure is concerned. Mr. Speaker, sir, with your permission, I will go straight to committee observations. 1, the county government realized 28% of the total budget as at the reporting period, with equitable share being that 3% receipt. On-source revenue was 30% receipt, while conditional allocations was 0.1%. Mr. Speaker, sir, the county government received 4 months equitable share disbursement for the reporting period instead of expected 6 months disbursement. Mr. Speaker, sir, the on-source revenue registered at 26% growth compared to the same period in the previous year. Mr. Speaker, sir, universal health care registration fee registered was 0% performance as at the reporting period, indicating of the slow uptake of the service by the populace. The overall budget absorption rate by the county executive was at 22%, while the county assembly overall absorption rate was 48% as at 31st December 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, the overall absorption of the recurrent budget by the county executive was 30%, while that of the development budget was 7%. The department's absorption of the recurrent budget was 39%, while the absorption of the development budget was at 26%. Mr. Speaker, sir, on recommendations, despite the on-source revenue registering a 26% growth in the reporting period, the county was still not meeting the on-source revenue target as set in the budget, and this is likely to cause budget shortfalls. The county executive should therefore fast-track the implementation of the revenue-raising strategies already identified to bolster the chances of the county realizing its revenue targets. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Department of Health Services should enhance the mobilization efforts of getting the unregistered households registered for the universal health care, as this one is the only surest way of ensuring provision of funds for the sustainability of the program. 3, the county executive department needs to have proper project implementation plans to ensure early and timely commencement of project implementation, which will further enhance better absorption of the development budget by close of the financial year. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I take this opportunity to thank all members of the committee for their valued contributions and input during the deliberations on the financial statements and their active participation in the making of this report. On behalf of the committee, I also wish to thank the officers of the Speaker and the Clerk of the County Assembly for the technical support according to the committee during the entire period of the committee deliberations after the report making period. Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of the members of Finance and Socio-Economic Planning Committee, it is my place and duty to present to this County Assembly the committee's report on the financial year 2023-2024 half-year budget implementation report for the Finance, Planning, Budget and Revenue Department for consideration and adoption. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Call upon Honorable Member for Ivingoni Zambani Ward to second this motion.
Honorable members, I now propose that this assembly adopt the report of the Committee on Finance and Socio-Economic Planning in the financial year 2023-2024 half-year count budget implementation report for the Department of Finance, Planning, Budget and Revenue laid on the table of the Assembly on 24 April 2024. The floor is open. Honorable Francis Munyao Mutuku.
I want to thank the chair. He has presented a very good report and I would wish to support. Thank you.
Mover.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and wish to thank a senior member, high-ranking member, Honorable member for Zakika Ward, for his contribution, and also members, their contribution in silence means we have done a good job. Also want to thank committee members for finance and economic planning for their dedication, and also the support that we have been getting from the leadership. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let members give it a big yes.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this assembly adopt the report of the Committee on Finance and Socio-Economic Planning on the financial year 2023-2024 FBL Count Budget Implementation Report for the Department of Finance, Planning, Budget and Revenue laid on the table of the Assembly on 24th April 2024. Will as men of that opinion say aye? Will as men of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now direct that this report to be communicated to the County Secretary and the CCM, Finance, Planning, Budget and Revenue. Next order.
Order number 12, motion. The report of the Committee on Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperative Development on the financial year 2023-24 half-year county budget implementation report for the Department of Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperative Development.
Chairperson to move a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the following motion, which is that this Assembly endorse the report of the Committee on Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperative Development on the financial year 23-24 half-year county budget implementation report for the Department of Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperative Development laid on the table of the Assembly on 18th March 2024. Mr. Speaker, I have the report with me, and I would beg for your permission so that I do not tackle the committee mandate, the oversight role, the executive summary, the development expenditure analysis, and financial performance for agriculture is 31st, 2023. So Speaker, you allow me to go to the findings very quickly. So Speaker, the committee made the following findings. The first one was during the first 6 months of financial year 23-24, 142,400 farmers accessed extension services, 170 metric tons of certified seeds were supplied to farmers. The area under low pest prevalence zone was also increased by 17,000. Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperative Development had a total allocation of 1,145,323,935 as per the financial year 23-24 supplementary budget estimates. 1, representing 10% of the total supplementary budget. So Speaker, the total expenditure for the department as at 31st December 2023 amounted to 118,206,526, representing an absorption rate of 10%. During the above stated period, recurrent expenditure, Mr. Speaker, amounted to 105,594,074, equivalent to 36%, while development expenditure was at 12,612,452, representing 1%. Mr. Speaker, in implementing the financial year 23-24 budget, a number of challenges were encountered. Notably, among them was delayed equitable share, loans and grant releases. The county received a disbursement equivalent to 4 months instead of the anticipated 6 months, amounting to a shortfall of nearly half of the expected funds for the stated period. So, Speaker, there was a total of 78 development projects as follows: 31 completed projects, 35 projects not started, and 2 projects were ongoing as at 31st December 2023. So, Speaker, for the non-financial performance, operation expenditure had not been started. Crop development and what is this? crop development, 7 out of 15 KPI had not started. Agribusiness and information management, all the 9 KPI had not started. Livestock production, management and development, all the 15 KPI had not started. Corporate development and management, 1 out of the 5 KPI had not started. Then, Mr. Speaker, I just go straight to the recommendations. The committee recommends as follows. The Department of Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperative Development to provide a report to the County Assembly containing the plans it has in completion of the projects and the KPI which has not started. In the report, to provide an explanation why it has taken too long to commence majority of the projects despite lapse of the first 6 months. The report should be provided within 1 month after adoption of this report by the County Assembly. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the committee, I wish to extend special gratitude to the Office of the Speaker, Clerk of the County Assembly for the technical support of HUD, and thank all the members who diligently discharge their mandates as required by the law. On behalf of the committee, I hereby present the committee's report for consideration of the financial year 23-24 half-year county budget implementation report of the Department of Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries, Cooperative Development to the County Assembly for consideration and adoption. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With that, I call upon the member for Kalawa, Honorable Kali, to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I now propose that this Assembly adopt the report of the Committee on Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperative Development on the financial year 2023-2024 half-year count budget implementation report for the Department of Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperative Development laid on the table of the Assembly on 18th March 2024. The floor is open. Mover. Honorable members, I now put the question that this Assembly adopt the report of the Committee on Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperative Development on the financial year 2023-2024 half-year count budget implementation report for the Department of Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperative Development laid on the table of the Assembly on 18th March 2024. Will as men of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as men of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. This report to be forwarded to the CECM Agriculture, CECM Finance, Planning, Budgeting and Revenue under the County Secretary. Next order.
Order number 13, motion. The report of the Committee on Water and Sanitation on the financial year 2023-24 half-year county budget implementation report for the Department of Water and Sanitation.
Chairperson, Committee on Water.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion that this Assembly adopts the report of the Committee on Water and Sanitation on the financial year 2023-2024 half-year county budget implementation report for the Department of Water and Sanitation laid on the table of the Assembly on 19th March 2024. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, I wish to go straight to the committee's observations and then recommendations.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The committee observed that, number one, the Department of Water and Sanitation had an allocation of Kenya shillings 759,128,337 as per the approved financial year 2023-2024 supplementary budget estimates 1, representing 6.8% of the total county budget. Number 2, the total expenditure for the department as at 31st December 2023 amounted to Kenya shillings 53,611,868 representing an absorption rate of 7%. Number 3, the department's total recurrent expenditure for the first half of financial year 2023-2024 amounted to Kenya shillings 24,308,336. The department spent Kenya shillings 16,657,967 on personal emoluments and Kenya shillings 7,650,368.95 on operations and maintenance, which represents 69% and 1% respectively of the total recurrent expenditure for the first 6 months of financial year 2023-2024. Observation number 4 is that the department total capital expenditure for the first half of financial year 2023-2024 amounted to Kenya shillings 29,303,532.15, representing 5% of the total budget. Observation number 5, out of the 260 projects or programs earmarked for implementation in the financial year 2023-2024, 112 were complete, 41 were ongoing, and 107 have not started. Observation number 6, in implementing the financial year 2023-2024 budget, a number of challenges were encountered. Notably, among them were delayed equitable share, loans and grants release where the county received a disbursement equivalent to 4 months instead of the anticipated 6 months. The county was expected to receive a total of Kenya shillings 4,185,453,117 for the first half of the financial year, but did receive Kenya shillings 2,790,302,118. Other challenges were delayed finalization of project designs, inadequate human resources, and protracted rains. Number 7, on non-finance performance, the department was able to implement the following programs and projects in the first half of financial year 2023-2024. Out of the targeted three feasibility study, out of the targeted 3 feasibility study, only 1 was done. Out of the targeted 14 medium and small-sized dams to be constructed, only 6 have been constructed. Out of the targeted 22 balls to be drilled, only 8 balls were drilled, and we have one in Masongaleni that struck 13 cubic of water. Out of the targeted 39 water projects, water project pipeline extensions, only 15 pipelines were extended. And out of the targeted 150 water institutions to be trained on water management, since I'm still young and able to have a very good sight, I wish to continue, Mr. Speaker. Water management and governance, only 60 water institutions were trained. The observation number 8, which is the last one, the financial year 2023-2024 on-source revenue stream performance for water and environment fee, that is consent, NEMA, mining and penalties, as at 31st December 2023 was 8%. The financial year 2023-2024 targets for the stream was Kenya shillings 2 million, but only Kenya shillings 160,000 was realized for the second quarter. This was observed to be higher as compared to revenue performance for the second quarter for financial year 2022-2023 with Kenya shillings 90,000. Committee's recommendations. The committee recommends that, number one, the accounting officer in charge must proactively initiate projects, diligently undertake their implementation, and effectively conclude them within the stipulated timelines, thereby ensuring effective service delivery to the target beneficiaries as formulated by the provisions of the Section 153(1) of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, which states that the accounting officer of a county government entity is responsible for the management of the entity's assets and liabilities and shall manage those assets in such a way to ensure that the county government entity achieves value for money in acquiring, using, or disposing of those assets. Recommendation number 2. The committee recommended that the county government should engage the Council of Governors to fast-track timely release of funds to the county government. The last recommendation is that the committee recommended that the County Assembly Sectoral Committee should carry out an oversight exercise to verify the status of implementation as well as value for money on the scope of works done on development within 30 days on adoption of this report, Mr. Speaker. Acknowledgement. Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of the committee, I wish to extend special gratitude to the Office of the Speaker and the Office of the Clerk for the support offered to the committee. On behalf of the Committee on Water and Sanitation, I hereby present this report to the County Assembly for consideration and adoption. I wish to call upon my neighbor, the Honorable Member representing Thanga Ward, Honorable Eric Musyoki Katumo, to second this motion.
Honorable members, I now propose that this Assembly adopt the report of the Committee on Water and Sanitation, the financial year 2023-2024 half-year count budget in implementation report for the Department of Water and Sanitation laid on the table of the Assembly on 19th March 2024. The floor is open.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I've listened to the report. I support it. Honorable Speaker, I think we have a challenge with the Water Department pertaining the projects because they had about approximately 260 projects and about 148 have not been done. Mr. Speaker, you've heard that there is challenge in human resource there. There is also about the feasibility study. For a whole 6 months, they have done only one feasibility study, and two were not done, which means the next 6 months they will do another feasibility study one, and the one will be left. It means there is a challenge, Mr. Speaker, and in the case of mega projects, we may not achieve a lot. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I think we need to think as County Assembly of Makueni and how to help this department because I know most of the members have allocated money for water distribution mega project in their wards, and if we cannot achieve those projects, or we cannot complete those projects within the stipulated time of 1 year, it means members of general public will be complaining to us, and we will see some of the complaints on the walls, Mr. Speaker. And also I thank you, Mr. Speaker, because it's good each department gives us the implementation status of their respective department on the other side. With that, I know the water committee, they are going to give us a progress on how they are going to achieve the 260 projects to be completed by the end of the year. Otherwise, they have underperformed. And also on the revenue, and I said again here, we have non-revenue water. We are not getting money from water services. 8% of collection. Just imagine they are saying that they want to collect 2 million. And then what they have collected for a whole year, for a whole 6 months is I think 128,000 somewhere there. So Speaker, this department needs a lot of they need to put a lot of efforts to make sure that they actualize, because if we underperform on revenue, it means that the projects are not going to be done. Also, when we say for 6 months they have done only one feasibility study, 2 are pending, then it means they are underperforming, Mr. Speaker. And this is a department which we should keep it closer, or we put close monitoring of this department, Mr. Speaker. So I don't know how you are going to direct and how you are going to make the final recommendation, but I think we need to close monitoring of this department. Otherwise, it won't achieve a lot. Thank you.
Mover.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've noted the concern from the high-ranking member, and if my English doesn't skip my mind, I also want to thank him for vouching for the department to have more human resource in order to be able to accomplish some of these assignments in good time. Nonetheless, I wish to thank the members. That was an excellent report that didn't require a lot of debate, and I thank all members for supporting the motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this Assembly adopt the report of the Committee on Water and Sanitation on the financial year 2023-2024 half-year count budget implementation report. The Department of Water and Sanitation laid on the table of the Assembly on 19 March 2024. Will as men of that opinion say aye? Will as men of the contrary opinion say nay? I direct this report to be, the ayes have it. I direct that this report to be communicated to the CCM Water and Sanitation, the CCM Finance, Planning and Budget and the Revenue, and the Account Secretary. Honorable members, the time now being 16:19 hours, this assembly stands adjourned until Monday, 6th May 2024 at 2:30 p.m.